How's it going, everybody? We're going to go ahead and do a video today showing you how to paint and distress your bodies. That's lighter than I thought. So anyway, this is just a little body that I printed off. I won't bore you with the time-lapse print and all that, but it comes with a little truck topper. The bed is open, so I mean, the sky's the limit. I've seen people run popsicle sticks across. You could 3D print some kind of a bed cover, tonneau cover, whatever you want to do. Leave it open. Some people really like that cutout bed look. I don't know. I'm not really into that, but whatever. Each their own. And then we have the little grill. And so first, and this one's kind of cool because it printed with some like, oh, where's the camera? It printed with some like dents and dings already in the print file, which is really cool, I thought. I mean, usually, like, you know, I have to scratch it all up and beat it up with a Dremel and like a heat gun. But it's kind of cool that whoever designed this just did it for you. So there's just on your top. So, you know, little areas like that, you're going to have to sand. And so I'm going to try to do this as step by step as I can without making it a ridiculous, long, boring video. One guy in one of my comments was, you talked about a driver in it too much till you lose subscribers. And to that guy, I say, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not here to make money and millions of dollars off of an RC truck video. So if you don't like my opinion on, I like to have a scale little driver, even if it's just a skull head, then I don't know. Don't watch my shit. So anyway, a lot of the things that I've found are pretty cool to do this with is you can cut strips of sandpaper and they'll fit between there and you can sand out your little areas. Harbor Freight has these little file kits and they have a whole bunch. They have round ones, flat ones, triangle ones, you name it. You know, the whole kit. In fact, actually, I have this set right here. So this little set, you're looking at, I don't know, $6, $7, something like that. But huge lifesaver. Great. So what you want to do first, if you 3D print anything, is you want to remove all the little cookies that you don't want on there. So you can use a lighter, like right here, you can see some of that. It's got like some little stringy stuff. And so, but you have to be really careful because if you do it with PLA, I mean, it is very, see, it's all gone. It's very, very prone to warping with heat. And so, I mean, even if you just held it on there for a few seconds and then bent it, it would deform. So, I mean, you can use that to your advantage, or you could just, you know, heat it as a warning. But little tiny areas like that, you know, you can smooth them down. It'll iron them down just a hair. But, yeah, see, that's already cleaned up quite a bit. But, so I'm not going to bore you either with the sanding, unless you're completely stupid and you need instruction on sanding, like the guy that doesn't like drivers in his car. But what you can do, though, is, you know, just take your time. If you want it to turn out looking really good, if you want it to be something that people look at it and they go, wow, look at the attention to detail, you know, that's one thing. That's how I kind of am. I like doing some of the scale stuff. And what I'm going to do, just for some side money, is I'm probably going to do several different truck bodies. I've got like the Datsun file. I've got, you know, your Toyotas, and I didn't design any of them. I'm not claiming it. I just printed them off of either Thingiverse, Bamboo Labs, or Yep24. I'm sorry, 24 Yep. He has a bunch of free cool body files on their little Jeep thing. He's got a bunch of neat stuff. So thank you to anybody that's put free files out there. That's really, really cool. There's that Blammy's Garage on Facebook. You can find him. He does really good stuff. In fact, I've got a couple of blazers here. So this was the first one that I printed from him. I don't know if it's Blammy's or Blammy's Garage. Cool dude, though. He's really cool. But I used to have an old S10 Blazer. It was an 84, 86, something like that. I had it whenever I was in school, and I drove it all the time, little two-door. And I always wanted to make a crawler out of it. So whenever I got the file from him and I printed, And my last coat of paint did the alligator crap, so I've got to sand it down. But anyway, it printed pretty much at an 18 scale. So I should have, on my slicer program, I should have just measured the wheelbase. Plus, I already trimmed out the wheelbase quite a bit. I scaled it down to a 24 more style. In fact, what I just did was I took his dimensions on the slicer, and on scale I went to 74%, and then I measured the wheelbase and the length and width, and it was exactly the C10 body. Same exact dimensions pretty much from bumper to bumper. But his files are really, really detailed. Check him out. I don't know if he's got 30 scale yet, but if you just took the time and ran your slicer, you could probably convert this into a 30 scale, and maybe I will. But he didn't really say if you could sell them or not. I mean, I'm not going to take credit for designing them by far at all, but he's a pretty cool dude. You're looking at like $10, $15 for a print file on just about any car you can think of. And so, yeah, just hit him up, check him out. And on my eBay page, it's my username on there. I'll put a link in the description, but it's Guns I Love Guns. I know AI or whoever made it for me years ago. I've been on there for a very long time. I've got 100% feedback, and I sell a lot of different little odds and ends on there. But check it out if you want, or even just contact me in the comments if you are interested. If you just don't have a printer, it's understandable. It's a lot to learn and invest in. But if you just want a body printed like this, bare, I'll print one for you, and charge you a fair price. Shipping's probably going to be around $5-6, and I'll pack it nicely, put it in a little box. But what I'm going to probably do is distress these, paint them, cut out some windows, do some damage, maybe even put a little sticker here and there on it, or I'll just include some stickers with it. But yeah, that's what I'm going to just kind of do. So today I know this is kind of a long intro here, but we're going to just pretty much do a body step by step. I won't show you every single step, but I will go along the way, just do little short clips until we have the final product. All right, guys, thank you. All right, so I went ahead and I sanded a lot of the areas that were pretty rough, and that's good too, because it'll help, the next coat of like a primer or whatever paint to adhere to it. The body was actually like pretty flawless. I printed it like this, and I had a few supports that got the hood. That was about the only spot that I really had to sand, is just right up in here. The rest was actually really good. And then the bed, there was a thin spot. It's just an anomaly. Once in a while you get thin spots whenever you 3D print where you could actually see light through it. I don't know. But anyway, I patched it in with some super glue and let it dry. And so, yeah, anyway. But for the most part, just a little sanding block, a little file, sandpaper stick. I didn't have any of those little nail ones, but you can get all this crap at the dollar store for $1. And then just little strips of sandpaper. They go a long way. You don't need to sand all the layer lines if you don't want to, because you are going to be doing a bunch of different layers of paint. So yeah, anyway, so on to the next step. So what I like to do is I like to take just some Krylon Fusion, and I like to hit the interior black with like a flat black. You can actually hit the whole body with it black as like a base coat. You don't have to put it on super thick, because you don't want runs and you want your dry time to be pretty quick. But by doing the interior black, it really hides a lot of stuff. Like whenever you're looking at the truck from the outside, like if you're looking in later on after you've got it pretty close to done, it just looks more scaled, and it's not just like a blue interior or whatever. But I like to just do the black also because it fills in some of the little door lines, body lines, things like that. And then later on, whenever you put your other colors over it, then it kind of makes them pop, you know what I mean? Some of this stuff I will hand paint. But so the outer parts, I'm not going to really paint them black, just because, let's just make sure we got a pretty decent amount on everything in here. What I'm going to do on the outside is, doesn't matter what color you're going to do the car. Just doesn't matter right now. What I like to do, like this camper top, I'm probably going to do it white. Or, yeah, probably white. I've seen a lot of them white and they look really good. But where I'm going to make this thing look like a beat up piece of crap. And the reason I like doing that, I'm going to flip this over. The reason I like making them look like beat up pieces of crap is if you know people who really rock crawl that have the old Toyotas, the old Nissans, the old Datsuns, the old Suzuki, whatever's, they're beat up. Like, they've cut fenders out to where their bigger tires can go. They've got holes through the bed for some crazy shock thing or mount, or they've removed the gas tank because it'll hit a rock, and they've got fuel cells in the back. So, you know, I mean, they're pretty beat up, you know, which is awesome. And that's kind of what I'm going to go for this guy is, you know, I'm not going to really try to make it into a beauty shelf queen, you know. So like whenever you put these together, this black in here will kind of, you know, if you're looking through the bed, because there's always gaps, you know, then you'll be able to see that. So that'll be pretty cool. You know, nothing fancy. We're not masking everything off. And then the cool thing with the flat black is that it dries quick. I really like that. And the other color that I really like is this London gray. Okay, and even though it says it's a satin, it's you know, it's pretty flat, pretty just normal looking. So I don't want any London gray on this right now because most grills are plastic or like a chrome. So we're gonna just move that out of there. See, and I mean, I'm touching it. That's how fast flat dries. It's, you know, it's definitely quick drying. But so okay, with this London, what this does, the reason I say paint pretty much the whole truck with it, no matter what color you're gonna do, is because as you get scratches and you beat your truck up, you're gonna end up, oh, we'll remove this too. You're gonna start to see the undercoat, and maybe even if you scratch it hard enough, you'll get down to the actual plastic body. Oh, and on a side note, I know I'm all over the place, but with these together, whoever designed this did such a good job. The body thickness, this thing weighs as much as a Lexan. This is not heavy. It's a hard body, but it's not hard body weight. That's what's really cool about this, especially where this is pretty gutted. I know I'm trying not to say so much. Little girl pointed that out. But whenever you get this body, a lot of times I've been thrown off from the hard bodies is because they're just heavy. Then you're adding all this top heaviness, but this thing is super light, just whoever designed it. And so now I'm gonna just kind of go over this with this London gray, because it'll give it that rust appearance whenever if you scratch down or if you sand it. Let's see, try not to get paint all over myself. It's impossible though, you're gonna get paint. But just little mist coats. We're not trying to paint the whole thing in one shot. And it's kind of cool because, I mean, I don't know if the camera stuff's really showing it, but a lot of that stuff, it's just, you know, it looks like body damage already. It looks like rust, dents, little things. And so, you know, as this stuff kind of soaks into the low spots, the little dents and divots, as you paint it and sand over it, those will stay. And so they look like little rust pockets and things. And it's kind of neat just having the print file already having some of that stuff on it. So I don't really have to go back and do a whole ton. But yeah, we'll just call that good for right now, and we'll let it dry. Well, on the camera, you can see a little bit more of the blue. See, and I'm getting on the inside a little bit, and I don't care. It's you know, better than the blue is what I'm kind of getting at. You know, the blue, it's pretty well hidden and subdued. You can't even tell that this thing was blue. And maybe we'll paint it blue. You know, I've got a really cool navy blue that's that color that my blazer was on. It's pretty close to this lighter. Oh wow, that really pops on the camera. But yeah, it's pretty accurate for some of those 80s, 90s blues. I used a lot of that navy blue. Anyway, talking too much. We'll let this dry and then we'll move on to the next step. Decided to do the camper white instead of black. I've got a few crazy ideas for it, so we'll see what we end up doing with it. Okay, so this is like 2 coats of the what the heck was that one? London gray? Yeah, London gray. So London gray for pretty much a dark patina rust color. Warm caramel is actually a pretty decent, like, new rust type color. And so I usually, what I'll do is I'll spray paint it on the cardboard, and then I'll take like a really cheap, crappy dollar store brush. Like, you can get a pack of these for, you know, $1 for like 8 of them. And you can cut the bristles down to where you have like a way finer tip. And just, I mean, it ruins it. That's rock hard. But you can just dip it into the spray paint and just kind of, you know, just add it on there, and just really light strokes, because it dries really fast, and so very light strokes will put on just a small amount. And so it's really nice because you can layer it a little bit at a time as you go, you know. And you can go like water might collect in here, you just have to realize, like, what would a real truck do. So like if water collects underneath here and then it starts to run down and you have little rust stuff coming down, you know, or like in the creases of the hood, so you can kind of brush them out. But we'll get into all that in a little bit. So for the base color, my daughter, I know my buddy's gonna kill me, but I'm gonna go with the summer squash yellow again. But since it is a little Toyota body, I mean, that's always been my one of my favorite colors, besides the Back to the Future black, which is everybody's favorite little Toyota. But yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and do some of this yellow. And you don't want to put it on too heavy, because then you start to get like all kinds of weird stuff happening. So already got a big chunk up there. Boy, she really comes to life, huh? I'm start to put some color to it. Now here's the other thing too. Don't rush. I mean, this video, by the time I'm done, who knows, might be 40 minutes or an hour. I don't know, I hope not. But realistically, I'm into this over 2 days. Just let it dry. Just be patient, let it dry. Because if you try to mess with it, touch it, do things too soon, the steps just, you know, it's just going to mess you up and make more work later. But all right, we'll go ahead and let this dry. All right, so the white, and you know, you just hand paint that stuff, you know, black later, whatever. If you want to leave it, you can. So I'm thinking about taking like a little piece of garbage bag and cutting it out and making a little draped up back thing, and then you can cut with a razor knife little strips of duct tape and put it on, and it looks really cool. It looks, you know, just like some trashy camper shell, because that's what we're going for on this, is just kind of the trashy, you know, beater look. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. So sometimes your 3D printer will leave your layer lines and they look a little bit rougher. And the way I look at that is that's just a good starting point for scuffing up even more and putting some rust pockets. You know, because that's the whole reason I didn't go ahead and sand this whole thing down, because it's going to become a beater truck. So like right here, this fender well, for some weird reason, it printed like that, and that one didn't. So you never know, whatever. But this body, I love this design because the fender wells are so big, and then these ones are just, you know, open. See, and then with that on there, you know, you still have a huge front end. So I really like this design. Whoever came up with this, thank you so much. So now it's been dried for a while now, and so I'm going to take some, let's see, I cut this, of course, so there's not much grit, but we're talking like probably 500 grit. This is not, I mean, it's almost barely even sandpaper, but just to kind of give you an example of how I do it, and you can slowly start to see it leaving the yellow, and you know, just small circles, wax on, wax off kind of thing. And one guy I saw, you know, he was super patient. He took a toothbrush, like he went down to the dollar store or Walmart or whatever, and he got a extra firm, super hard toothbrush, and was taking the paint off with that with just some water. And it worked. I mean, you know, to each their own. So there you can see it's going through, and you can see the rust underneath the couple of coats of the London gray that we did. And you don't want to go too far, too much. You know, just take it a little bit at a time. And what really pops whenever you're done, whenever you're fully done with this, is whenever you hit it with the flat clear coat. So like I'm saying, I can put the garbage bag, the little pieces of duct tape, and just hit it with some of that flat clear, and whenever you're done, I mean, it'll bond and stick anything down there. You can even put some stickers on it, paint a little logo or something, anything you want to do, and then that flat clear really locks it in, really keeps everything from coming off. So like right here, and I'm not going to do the whole truck on camera because, I mean, you guys have other stuff to do in your life and sit here and watch me sand a little toy car. But, you know, see, there we go. There's some of that body damage coming through. And then what I'll do is whenever I use the Dremel, it's super, super loud. So what I'll end up doing, yeah, see, in some spots don't take very long at all, just one or two little hits. And they're right down to the, see, there you go. Some of that little patina look. And, but whenever I use the Dremel, I'm just going to go silent for that. I'll mute it. It is just super freaking loud. And, I don't know, maybe I'll do a voiceover on it. I don't know. Not really all that great at my editing yet, but. So, you know, I mean, there you go. There's just some little beat up spots. And, you know, if you go too much, all you got to do is just spritz that area with some more yellow paint and start over, you know. It's not, I mean, it's a little toy car, and it's going to get beat up a little bit when you're out driving, when you start hitting the rocks and roll it a few times and this and that. But this paint, it really does hold up quite a bit. I mean, it can take quite the beating. And then, like, you know, areas like this, I'm going to paint black by hand with a brush around the little windows. I might even just do some little half windows, like they're half rolled down. But I'll do a windshield. I guess while we're here talking, find it. So I am the biggest junk collector, I swear. But the thing that really makes great windows are like vitamin bottles, juice bottles. You can just cut these out with scissors. What I usually do a lot of times is I'll cut a piece of paper that's pretty close, put it up in there, and then just lightly trace out the shape. Pop it out, cut it out, lay it on this, transfer it, cut it. You're golden. You got little windows that are, you know, pretty lightweight, flexible, and pretty strong. So the sky's the limit on that kind of stuff. Let's see, what else do I have junk laying around? Just a Monster Rockstar Energy can. You can cut it, unroll it, makes shovels or anything that you need to do. Any interior parts you want to try to make, bend. It's super easy to work with. So, all right, well, I'm going to just go ahead and keep sanding it from here, and maybe I'll do a little bit of paint spots. I don't know. I'll turn it back on here a bit. See ya. All right, so some of the things I was trying to maybe point out or say is don't go too deep. I mean, you can go as deep as you want. I've even gone all the way through and made rust holes, but where this body is already pretty much fendered out, I just kind of left it, you know, pretty chewed up. And so, yeah, right there. And I started noticing myself kind of doing a pattern, and I didn't want to do that, so I tried to merge it in. But you'll have little flaky thingies hanging off, and sometimes, like that one, sometimes they're really good. Just leave them and just paint them, and then it looks just like a rust piece. Oh, sorry, I'm out of the picture. But like little flaky, hangy thingies, you know, it's really good. And you know, I kind of went there and made the bottom real jaggedy, and that always turns out pretty good. So now we're going to just take our London Gray again, and you don't need a whole lot. Just spray it there, and then you can just dip it in with your piece of shit paintbrush. Make sure it actually gets some on it. And then just wherever you see blue, just try to paint over it. And like you'll have little pieces of spatter and stuff flip off from the paintbrush, but it's fine. It just adds to it. I mean, we're going for beat up piece of crap. So, I mean, whoop. So there you go. There's a nice little rust pocket. Let's just keep going. I mean, the paint dries pretty quick, so you do have to kind of shut up and do it. Try to get it in the picture. But yeah, I mean, it's just fun. Just have fun with it. And this stuff always kind of dries a little quick, but whatever. Just have to spray a little bit more. That's why I don't use a whole lot of paint at a time. And a few people have, you know, they've been using the acrylics, like out of the little bottles, and they're fine. They're not bad, you know, if that's the route you want to go. Let's see. Just try to cover up the blue. See, that one turned out pretty nice, that little divot. It's weird because on the camera you can still see a little bit of blue in there, but in person you can't. But we'll trust the camera. Yeah, there you go. And see, it just made a nice little rust pocket. And so this is just kind of the base coat of these darker patina rust. Oops, we're running out. Don't need a whole lot. See, and I kind of messed up right there, but you're not going to really notice. See, I mean, the shittier the better. Just trying to see. And then you can even just kind of freshen up a few little spots if you think it needs more. So that's pretty much it for the bed. I'll probably just do the cab. Well, screw it. If you guys don't like it, just fast forward it. You can hold the screen button down and it'll make me talk like a chipmunk more than I already am. So let's see. That was a little bit much there, but you can wipe it off too. Everything washes off eventually. Get some more. I really appreciate all you guys, your support and watching and sharing and all that good stuff, comments. I'm not trying to be a millionaire. I'm not trying to be an influencer or make millions or any of this crap. It's just a fun little hobby. And if you can share it and grow it, it's even better. Just had somebody on Facebook reach out, and he's getting into it with his kids, and I thought it was pretty cool to help him out, give him a little bit of advice, and show him some of the groups that we meet up with. See, so well, that's gonna be black. I'll leave it until, so I can always just go back and add a little bit more later. See, and so we'll just kind of have a little bit of rust coming out from like around that door handle area. Okay. Yeah, these little pockets, I mean, in person, they look really cool because that Dremel, I just use a little carbide ball end, just a tiny one. I mean, you can get a whole set of them off of Amazon or AliExpress for really, really cheap. So a little bit of crap right there. Yeah, so you can work it in with your finger if you're not afraid of getting paint fingers. But yeah. Oops, sorry, out of the picture again. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's no right or wrong way, man. It's just however you like it, and and you're probably the only one that's going to be critical of your own stuff. A lot of times people look at it and they go, "Oh man, that looks so cool," and then you're like, "Oh yeah, but over there I dug it too deep," or whatever. And it's like we're our own worst critics always. Okay, so where that's a piece of shit paintbrush, and I don't really care about it. This stuff dries so quick. So now we're going to go to the warm caramel. Okay. Here's where the magic happens. So, same thing. Spritz it. I just dip the tip in this one. I don't really go too crazy. And then you just kind of do some highlights. Like I said, you can't mess this up. If you've ever gone out to a wrecking yard and found a real piece of shit car and looked at it, there's just random rust everywhere. Just like this. And some people might look at it and be like, "Oh, is that mud? Is that rust?" Hey, I don't care. Whatever your mind thinks it is, good. Put on a little happy rust, Bob Ross style. See, and that's what you're looking at when you're done. And so, you can come up in here and be like, okay, rust would kind of form underneath here. Let's just go a little crazy with it. Let's just show you how it really doesn't matter. How you can see I had kind of a glob mess up, and there we go. See, you just put a little bit more rust on it here. And I'm gonna paint this back bumper silver-ish, gray, whatever. Maybe black. I don't know. Maybe both. And then I say you cannot do this wrong. Put a little bit right there because there's not a lot there. There you go. Just a little. Put it. You know what? We're gonna. Oh, I just realized it's gonna have the cab on it. So let's kind of put some. Like it's ran out from the cab. Because that would collect a little bit of water, right? Especially with the broken windows and stuff we're going to probably do on it. See, and I mean, you just cannot mess this up. There we go. Just put it everywhere, just like that. Good. Nice and shitty looking. Okay. I mean, if it was a little shelf queen and you didn't want to put a scratch on it, you never want to go out and drive it hard. Because you're like, oh, I don't want to, I've seen people do that. Go, I don't want to roll it down that. Oh, no. Oh, I don't want to scratch it. But when you're driving something that looks like it's been in a Freddy Krueger movie, and it's like, let's go whoop this thing up some more. See, I had a glob there and I just rammed it with my finger and everything worked out. So I'm going to do the grill black, so like it's a plastic grill up here, these little louver vent things. Yeah, this is just spray paint and a dollar store brush that's been used ridiculously. It's been used on all kinds of crazy stuff. It's kind of hard to keep glancing at the screen trying to see if I'm in the shot or not, but I apologize if I'm not. Okay. And there we go. I might actually put a little bit more on this hood damage here because it's just hard to well, it looks different on camera. It really does. Everything looks so much different on camera and then in person, especially with paints and colors and all that good stuff. So, but there's nothing here. So there we go, and then I don't know if we'll, oh, you know what, I almost forgot. Even though the cab will be on there on the back, it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to even just rub a little bit on these edges here. Just that way if you end up seeing the edges. Some people will pick this up and be like, really look it over and check her out, but let's see, where'd that cab go? Camper show. And if you're watching, shout out to Jess. She'll definitely want a little Pizza Planet thing on there, and you could. I mean, you could totally turn this into a little Pizza Planet thing, you know, cut you out. And that's what I'm talking about, you know. You want to put like a little truck bed in there, cut a little piece of this, you know, just do it out of paper first and lay it down, punch some holes with your thing, and then you have a truck bed. You can add little things on there. I've seen one guy did do a little Toy Story one, and he had like all the little toys in the back, like they were hitching the ride and stuff. I mean, it was pretty cool. I thought that guy did a really good job. But so we'll just kind of let that dry for now, and then it's almost dry actually. But I'm gonna just take some black paint, and I'm gonna go through maybe with a little bit better paintbrush than this thing, but I'll just start painting these up black, and the little door handle black. And then I've got another thing that I really like are these silver Sharpies. Silver Sharpies are awesome because like the little key, like the little lock thing, it's hard to see it now, but you paint that silver and there it is. I mean, these things are seriously awesome. See, there you go. All right, got a little key thing. And so where the bumper attaches in the front too, you have the two little screws. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just, once I screw it all together and get everything built, then I'll just spray a little bit of yellow and go in there and dab it and just get the heads of them, because you're never going to take the bumper off when you're done. And then number two, just kind of hides them a little bit. Then they look almost just like a little body dent or something. But people aren't going to look that close on everything and nitpick you. Most people, even if they think, oh, it looks kind of shitty, they're going to give you a compliment. But you know what? Shitty's what we're going for. So, all right, I'm going to get some black and we will figure it out. Okay, so I thought my video was filming, but it wasn't when I painted the tail lights. So I just went on search, found what their tail light pattern was, and it was orange, white, and red, but it has a black box around it and a ring around each one of the colors. So I'm going to paint that on there. I've got a paintbrush that I've flattened out so it's pretty flat, and then I'm just going to try to use the edge. I was looking for toothpicks, but I think we're all out, or I already stole them for some project and lost them, like I usually do. Don't tell the wife. So anyway, just dip the corner edge. Steady yourself by resting. I know a toothpick would be nice. And there's a line. It's that easy. Except for it's nerve-wracking. And just screwed that up just a little bit. So anyway, something like that. I'll try to find a toothpick or something and I'll darken it up. But yeah, anyway, just try to get a good outline of that. Whole inside is painted black. We did that just a second ago, I guess. And I'm going to cut out some things. I even thought about maybe cutting out a piece of the aluminum and putting it in like a window slot, like the dude did something really trashy, but yeah, whatever. So all right, I'll go ahead and paint up those things. I'll try to find a toothpick and do that. So I thought this would work, but it's a little bit too nerve-wracking, especially doing it in front of the camera. So all right, see you in just a second. Okay, so on to the windshields. So I don't believe this. I painted with the little spiky end of this. So like a little spike. And I was able to paint the lines pretty straight, I think. Yeah, turned out okay. So we got that. Okay, so I cut a piece of paper. And it was kind of weird. So just a regular piece of white paper. Got it cut. And then I just kind of reach inside and hold it pretty solid. And then we'll just make our marks. Okay. And so now we'll cut that out and I'll put it over my bottle that my wife keeps wanting to throw away because it's trash, but no, it's not trash. It's a windshield. Okay, so we got it drawn on our little bottle, and these are the Tamiya, whatever the hell, little body cutting scissors. These ones have a slight angle. They're not perfectly straight, but they will cut pretty straight as long as you just keep them on the line, you know. You just have to work with it. But yeah, we can get us a windshield pretty easy, cheap, and good quality. I mean, this bottle was pretty dang strong. Yeah, and there's such a slight curve to the scissors that it's not really that hard to keep it straight. Okay. And if you're not using those and you think you'll just use a razor blade, just make sure you're careful. If you're a kid, I mean, this is just my little disclaimer, I guess. So there we go. I mean, that's pretty sick. It flexes just right. And my dirty, that's actually not a bad idea. I could take some little bit of some brown paint and probably just smudge the windshield up a little bit. And it'll make it look like dirt, mud, whatever, but we're not going to go for that. In fact, James Dirt RC, shout out to that guy. He did some really cool broken glass looks, like he pretty much scratched it and made it look like some broken glass. That guy's really cool. He does a lot of WPL stuff, and he got a little SCX24 not too long ago. You guys might have seen it running around with a Denali body on it now. It's pretty cool. But yeah, he's got the Tamiya little race car. Man, I like that. And it's even got some little scratches in it, and it's kind of a little bit hazy, but yeah, I mean, that's just how you do it, guys. And then I'll just attach it with I'll probably just use super glue. I have some super glue gel, some Gorilla Glue, and I will just glue that and hold it until it's pretty much set. So, okay. And like I said, I don't think I'm going to do a window here, and I think I'm going to opt out on the side windows. But yeah, definitely needed a windshield and maybe a side mirror, or a side window. I'll just do the same thing. I'm not going to bore you. I just put a piece of paper behind it, trace it out, and cut it, let it rip. All right, guys, I'll show you when it's all glued. So there it is, glued in. And then on the inside, when I signed it, but then I went around all the trim on the inside with some super glue, and then once it was pretty dry, I went over it with some paint. So it really sealed it off and made it look pretty decent, I think. So cool. Yeah, anyway, now on to the camper shell. Alrighty, well, that took a lot longer than I thought, but I'm super excited. I'm going to do the reveal here. So I cut up this bottle, Okay, that's probably used about half of what you see missing because there was already some missing. But I did the camper shell. Okay, now I just did a regular window, and then I painted the inside. I went around the inside with paint so that it looked like a weather stripping type from the outside. So I did a jaggedy broken window. All right. I did from James Dirt RC's advice and tips, I did a cracked broken glass kind of thing, some weather stripping. I did the duct taped, and that's like a real piece of plastic, actually pretty heavy duty plastic, and then just another regular window. So I'm pretty pumped to see how this bad boy looks whenever it's all when it all comes together. I need to get this a little bit weathered and dirty. Maybe I'll just leave it, and then whoever ends up buying this will jack it up themselves. But yeah, super impressed with how some of that came out. You know, I was just playing around with an idea, and I'd try it out, and I was like, holy crap, this is just coming together. And then they're all just super glued in. So every window except for the papery tarp thing is glued in, but I may run a little bit of some super glue on the, just kind of smear it just to make sure that the tape doesn't peel off down the road. But that's real duct tape. I cut a strip off and then just kind of eyeballed what would be about a 24 scale strip and just peeled it off. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna screw it all together. And then, like I said, I'll put a link in the description. And, oh yeah, window, it turned out fully done. I can't remember if I showed that. That's the problem with doing a video in segments. Oh, so then I did a few more little details. So like I put a little keyhole on the little lock keyhole thingy. Put one on each side. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to assemble it with screws. And then I'll put it on my eBay. I'll put a link on my eBay on my thing. And I mean, it's not going to be the one and only car body that I do. I really kind of like doing this. It was pretty fun. And let me see. So today I've actually been printing a lot of things. Maybe some of you guys have heard it throughout there. But here is a 30 scale Datsun. So this is a little Datsun pickup. And I have some details to do on it, but pretty cool looking little truck. I mean, that's what a 30 scale looks like next to a 24. Let's see. I can move these up just a little bit. So yeah, that's the 30 scale to the 24. And I had to scale this down myself. So this little 30 was actually the same as this one. So that's a Datsun. And yeah, so I designed the back panel and I moved a fuel cell from another thing, put it on there. So I have a lot of work to do on these. Did a lot of test stuff. Here's another Toyota body that I've got, and it's got the little X door thingy, the grill printed on it, and the lights. And then, so that's the actual fuel cell that I robbed from whoever's design, but I just sliced it on my slicer and then added it to the deal. But yeah, this one's kind of cool. It's got a headache rack. It's got the Toyota in the logo, and it's the Salty. So it says Salty down here in the headache rack. And this will screw down and bolt in the little fuel cell. And it will give you quite a bit of room. Anyway. So yeah, that's another body in the works that I'll probably do here a little bit, and not sure what color. If any of you guys are seeing this and you're like, oh my gosh, I want that body or whatever, and you know, let me know what color, let me know what style, if you want it nice, if you want a cool paint job, or if you want like a beat to shit job. But either way, appreciate you guys watching, and I don't know, I guess that'll probably wrap up this video, but I will definitely put the links to all the different stuff in the subscription, or in the description. So like and subscribe. I'm not a pro at this stuff, but hey, I had fun and learned a few things myself today, so that was pretty cool. All right, guys, thanks again for watching.